we'll see where we go. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm remoting into my home computer, and I'm going to get this little character I made on Ready Player, it's called Ready Player Me. I created this little dude with face tats, and it's like less than a megabyte. So I'm going to add it to the project, and then we'll be at version 70 for everyone. But yeah, it's like, it's tiny. It's less than a megabyte, and I think if it's the right asset, I hope it's the right asset, it includes face capture as well. So I don't know if you guys checked out that website, but it's Ready Player Me. It makes this little kind of Fortnite stylized characters. I'll put that in week 11 as well, since we're at it. All right. So adding a link to that in week 11 if anyone wants to jump in there. Moving on. So what are we doing? We're getting a second avatar in to our project, and of course my project at home I have not downloaded it, so I'm not synced. I'm going to cheat a little bit, and let's go ahead and here we are. Just make sure we are. I'm at. Let us see. Class is this one. I need to pin this to my taskbar. Drink. All right, now I have it for posterity. Cool. All right, and so all right, so this one is at okay. Wait, am I at my home computer or am I on my computer here? I'm so confused. I must have done this at home? Okay. Let's just look and see if there's a MetaHuman in there. There is not. Okay, so this is before I did the MetaHuman. It knows about the updates. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cheat real quick. I'm only gonna upload a single folder, and that way it doesn't need, hopefully it doesn't need to be updated. Otherwise, then I'll just we'll move on. We'll just have set two of the same character for today. In the meantime, I have Motive that I'm gonna open up, and we have two performers in suits, and we're gonna put dots on them. Let's open that up. So I'm going to do this over on the other side. You guys don't need to see that. And we'll have Motive on this screen right here. Great. Okay. And Motive has 4 phases. Right? Motive on the top right has the calibrate. We're not going to calibrate because we are continuously calibrating. We're by using the motion capture system. Let's look at the application settings. By using the system, we are continuously calibrating. Right? So just using it calibrates it. So only if you move a camera or knock down a truss do you have to actually calibrate again. So hopefully all these markers and stuff like that, these will all be fine. So we're going to move on from there, and everything, all cameras are working. They're at 240 frames per second. So now let's go to the creation. We don't have Victoria here this week, so we're going to go ahead and turn off that asset, and we're going to start creating a new skeletal mesh. We have 2 helpers, so we have Lucas and Shinoko are both going to be adding markers, and then we have Sammy and Ariel in suits. And I guess if you guys want to pair up, that way we could double the efforts and do it quicker. We're going to create a skeleton today, and there's tons of different combinations. The baseline, the minimum for doing tracking is 37 markers. If we do it with fingers, it's 49 markers. But because markers have so much occlusion, if I was going to do fingers for real, I would buy like some gloves that have like inertial sensors, not even inertial, like stretch sensors, like stretch sensor or whatever. But we're going to do a toe. We want to see a deformed toe, not deformed, but like we want deformation on the toe, not a deformed toe. So 41, And if you guys want to get closer to the screen, that way it's easier for you to see, they're going to pair up and they're going to put these markers on so you guys can see this happening. Cool. Winslow, you're more than welcome to help them or whatever.
Sure.
Hang out. Yeah. And we also got a cameo from Winslow here today. So once the door closes, we'll be fine. Yeah. And Winslow, just turn. Winslow, can you go over the mixer and just turn it down just a slight bit so it's not so hot? Nice. Cool. But so you guys might want to actually go to the screen so you can see much easier. You go to the projection. You go closer to the projection. It's a little easier to see. Anyway. Cool. So you can see them in front of the camera, and we're putting on dots. The main things to point out is that it's basically about doing the major hinges of the body. The first major hinge is the hips. So confirm that you guys got 4 markers on the hips. Alright, so that's the first one. And then from there I usually go up to the chest. That shows which way the upper body bends based off of this chest marker. Also the marker that gets occluded the most because people want to like hug and hold things. So it's something that's very important to get that bend. Alright. Alright. And then it's important to point out that there's a couple of asymmetries, and those are really important to help differentiate between left and right. So if you look at this leg, the left leg has the more spaced out, right? So it's the performer's left. Obviously, my screen right has one higher up on the thigh. The other one's just above the kneecap. Not just above the kneecap, but it is above the kneecap. And then the lower is on the left side is lower than their performer's right. And while you're doing the legs, might as well get these knees, again defining the knee joint, right? So these purple ones are showing which way it bends, whereas these white ones are defining what hinge it is. Cool. Then let's move on to the feet and do the feet. So first of all, jump on those ankles and heels. Ankles and heels, and they're wearing their shoes. So they have these stirrups underneath, Velcro stirrups underneath their socked footies, and then they have these Velcro boots on, and then you can put these markers on the Velcro boots. Put one at the tip of the toe, where the toe is the furthest out, and then we want to define this hinge. This is where we add in. This is the difference between this baseline and this baseline plus toe, is that you add in this hinge here so that your toe actually bends when you're doing your animation. So good to point that out. So there we go. Moving around, we can do the hands. Again, we're not doing finger tracking, but we are going to do either side of the wrist, obviously another major joint, and then one that's kind of at the base of the pinky, right, at the pinky knuckle, right, delicious pinky knuckles. So the hand has 3, 2 on the wrist, on either side. Cool. And moving up, let's look at the back. The back has a lot of them. All right. So the back has, first of all, the shoulders are up top. They're not on the shoulder hinge. It's actually inward some. And this was a change from the newest version of Motive. Don't know why. Just keep note of that it's not on the shoulders themselves. It's inward a little bit. One at the base of the neck here, or the top of the back. And then you actually have these 2 markers that are actually just above the old armpits, and that's what's actually defining that hinge. And then 2, one below each shoulder blade. Right, that's another major deformation of the back, is these shoulder blades. Great. And second, I'm operating 2 computers at once, so just give me a second. And then the head is another asymmetry, right? It's the top crown forehead, so you have to pull that hat down forward because it needs to be on the forehead, not on the above the hairline. And then one on the right side of the head. And that should do it. If you need me to show another part of the body, do it again, let me know. Otherwise, to make the characters, we'll need to have one performer leave the room, and all the markers will leave the room as well. Because it just makes it easier. We don't have to, but let's just be clean, and then you could deviate once you learn more, and you've earned my trust. Cool. All right. So I need just one performer in the space for right now. So if somebody would elect to leave, we will get moving. So I only need one performer in the space. So I need the other performer to leave. Thank you very much. Beautiful. And so now we are done with this phase. We should have one person in here, and we should only see 41 markers in the space. And we see 43. So apparently there might be 2 additional markers either in the room, which I can look around. There's nothing on the floor. If I highlight Sammy there, it says 43 are selected. So Sammy has 2 additional markers on his body somewhere. Where could it be? So my technicians are more than welcome to come and take a look at him and scour him and be like gorillas and try to find that little insect that you want to eat for dinner and pick it off. Let's see. So turn it around. Nice, nice. Able to suss it out? Okay, so now with those in hand, we can see that there's only 38 markers detected. Somehow we just lost 5 markers. Oh, let me just select again. All right. We have 41 markers selected. Just joking with you guys. And we have Sammy. Everyone loves a little joke, right? So it says unable, so I need you to be in a T pose. So stand on the center. There's an X on it. There's a blue X. T pose, and let's select again. Let's say create. All right, Sammy, you're a real boy. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and get Ariel all set up. Okay. So we'll switch my performers. Can we switch the space? All right, so I'm going to deselect Sammy. We no longer need him. We can bring him back as needed. And look, there's 41 markers in the space. So Ariel, you're going to find the X, the blue X in the center of the floor. Stand there, face the projector or projection screen, and give me a T-pose, which is feet shoulder width apart. So your feet just a little bit further apart. There you go. And then your arms out like an airplane, straight across like a T-pose. Straight across, there we go, like an airplane. I don't know any airplanes that do A poses. Maybe in Star Wars. And we're gonna make Ariel. All right, Ariel, you're a real thing as well. Can I have both performers in the space? All right, everyone's here, everyone's hanging out. Sammy, give me a T real quick. Boom, there you are. We got 2 performers here. All right, great. So every time we get somebody in a suit, what we want to do is we want to get them what we call like a digital fitting, a digital fingerprint. We want to see the different ways their bodies can move, and that's called a retargeting dance, or it's basically a kind of a short sentence that uses all the letters of the alphabet, but it's a movement, a series of movements that gets all the rotations of major joints. And should we ever have somebody, we need to recreate them from scratch, should they get some sort of fiery wreck, we'll have that DNA to be able to bring them back. So Winslow, do you know this dance? Have I done this one for you? The range of motion dance? It's the one where you step forward and you move your hands. Okay, I'll come out and do it. Okay, you're gonna come here and you're gonna hit record then. Or you come here? You're in charge of technicians. We're gonna switch real quick, and you guys are gonna see me dance, and it'll be recorded for posterity. All right. I mean, all you gotta do is hit a big giant red button. But if you want to give it a unique name, first of all, I'm gonna switch over to the capture layout now that we've created, and we have a folder here called Virtual Production that we've already made that we're putting everything in. And there we go. So I won't be able to speak because I'll be in that room. So all the tidbits I'm going to say now. The main tidbits are, the main thing is that we're going to start in a T-pose or we're going to end in a T-pose. All right, that's the major information. Okay, and then you'll see me doing a couple of things. I'll just give you the signal you guys before. Okay. Go ahead and you can at the center. You can say rename it and call it retargeting dance. And put like today's date, or actually today's date's already on there.
Yep. Take dance. All right. Going to be recorded. We're learning the dance. I think I remember
It's
this.
like an exact dance fair.
Yeah, it's an exact dance. Oh, I actually remember this dance. Okay, that I don't remember.
Recording.
Yeah, we're recording. I forgot. Awesome.
All right. You guys roll, stay here, whatever you want. All right. So what we have here now is retargeting dance. All right. And if I go to edit mode, we can watch it. But I'm invisible, right? That's what's so funny. Because I'll record a bunch of mocap, and I'm used to being invisible, and then I'll go to like a real set and like stand right in front of the camera, and it's like, asshole, you're in front of the camera. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not invisible in real life. We hit play. Oh, you can see I have something reflective on my body. That's a big no-no. I stopped wearing shoes with any reflection because of that. Cool, so we have the recording take here, and we can play it forward, we can play it backwards. Right, so let's go backwards. And even, we can make it change different speeds, because we have 240 frames per second. So if we really want to embarrass somebody, we can go to real slow, and we get a nice buttery smooth slow motion. Everyone is a bird and a different thing. Cool. And what's great about this is not only do we now have their digital fingerprint, is that we have mocap recorded for them that we can put on loop, that we don't have to worry about making them continually move for us as we're doing our technical stuff, okay? So That's good. I think we're all happy there with this stuff. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to get this into Motion Builder. This is again the age-old pipeline for Motion Builder, and our performers are more than welcome to relax while we do this technical stuff. Feel free, we have tons of seats around, or you can hang out as you wish. All right, so we're just assuming that Motive is on loop, and it's going to be playing back in real time. There we go. Motive has streaming pane here, and we're going to stream everything out. We just need rigid bodies and skeletons, and all these settings are perfect. Take a screenshot if you want to. What's great about Motion Builder is that it'll actually change your settings for you if you don't have it right. So Motion Builder. I have put in our syllabus the documentation of what we're doing, or I guess a combination of documentations that we're doing for this. I'm going to move OptiTrack to the other screen. So this is the Motion Builder plugin, which is we'll do in like 2 seconds. Then how to connect Motion Builder with Live Link. I'll go through this step by step, and that'll get us into Unreal. All right. But the first thing is just getting the data from OptiTrack. Here's Motion Builder layout, and the main important things are really tiny and in the weird areas of the screen. The left side is where all our content will be, like everything in our scene. And then the right side is where all the stuff that's built into into Motion Builder exists. And the first thing we want to do is we want to use a device, and this device is our OptiTrack skeleton. So I have downloaded and installed an executable from OptiTrack that is for Motion Builder. I just drag it out here to the world, and now we can see we have this OptiTrack plugin. Now, my computer, if you can see here, is connected to our VPN. Okay. So OptiTrack is now streaming on our VPN. Anyone should be able to see it if you have like the NatNet SDK or some other stuff. But if you have Motion Builder, I encourage you to install the Motion Builder plugin from the OptiTrack site, and then you have this. You can say so right now I want to get data from OptiTrack. OptiTrack sees my VPN and it's sending it on my VPN IP, right? We have the class is show my networks. It's spraying virtual production, and it is 192.168.192.245. That's what we chose to send it on. We're sending it on the VPN. Moving this back away, and I have already put this in here last week, so it's here by default, and I can say online. And this only took me 2 years of trial and error to finally get right, but you're seeing it happen in blazingly fast speed. It works, and we want to see it live. And at this point, I don't need OptiTrack. I can record here in Motion Builder. I'm going to create 2 skeletons, and look, that's how easy it is to get data in Motion Builder. That's fantastic. Cool. And everything has been what's called characterized. They're all known as bipeds, and they're being named based off of how I named it in Motion Builder. So I will have this or another take we do later on streaming all weekend long. Well, I guess you can't get it from Motion Builder. I tried that. It works locally, but not like remotely. It works like in the same building, but you'll be able to get it from OptiTrack. And you can bring it to Motion Builder. Motion Builder, unfortunately, is only PC, but I can give you access to a PC should you need it. All right, so we have our characters. All right, let's go to our project. This is our shared project. I have added in a MetaHumans folder, and then I want to bring in one more character, and then I'll submit that for everyone to download. I'm going to go into new folder, skeletal meshes, and I'm going to create a folder for my Ready Player Me character, Ready Up. All right, and I just downloaded it from my other computer because I don't want to deal with syncing it. So in my downloads folder, I should, if I hit refresh, look at my other downloads folder, I have this character here. Bring him in, and hopefully this is the right one. Uh-oh, it's thinking. I don't like when computers think for themselves. So while this is hopefully loading, the operative thing for getting Motion Builder to get data is to go to optitrack.com, and you can find their software. And this is PC only. OptiTrack is PC only, so is Motion Builder, so is most of virtual production. And there is an Unreal plugin, but it's again, it's PC only anyway, and the workflow is really, really stupid. But if we do this Motion Builder plugin, you can download it, and it's for Motion Builder 2018. I've written them an email asking for when they'll be updating it, and they said, we're releasing Motive 3.0 in a couple weeks, and that's what we're really focusing on, and then we'll update it. But this is for Motion Builder 2018. I should have mentioned that. 2014, 2018. All right, very important there. Let's see if the FBX is ready. This is a tiny file. Oh, sorry, my import window is over on the other screen, and it is a new skeleton mesh. We'll import it with default settings. We want to bring in morph targets because I think it has morph targets, and we'll use frame 0 just because I don't like seeing warnings. Import. Let's see what this looks like. Don't care. Cool. Let's see. Yep, it's got the morph targets there. So I think the eyes don't work. The eyelids do, but the eyes don't look left and right. We can add that later in. Not really important for today. And I will go ahead and say submit to source control. It's going to check for assets. It should find this asset. It says no assets check in. Let's say yes, we do. We want to add these. And now, folks, I'm going to submit this and say Todd added another small skeletal mesh for live mocap, and submit it. And now, once it's done, everyone should be able to pull that, and we'll have the same changes. Okay. So if you have Motion Builder 2018 and you've installed that plugin, you will be where we're at right now with Motion Builder right here. Now, you might not have those import files, the source files, because you're on another computer and you didn't import that FBX I just imported. So I'm going to show you guys how to get the FBX from Unreal, so that we can do the retargeting inside of Motion Builder. So everything's submitted. You guys will be at the right version, version 70. That's great. So I'm going to select this FBX. I'm going to pretend like I don't have it, and I'm going to say File, Asset, Actions, Export. This whole window comes up. I might actually put it in this imports folder. They'll make a new little folder just for our little assets together, and that way it's a little carrier pigeon to you. Ready Player Me. You can go up to version. Let's do. This is Motion Builder 2018, and we'll do 2018. And all we need is the preview mesh. It doesn't matter. We don't need materials. We don't need anything. We just need to be able to retarget it. Okay. Export, and then went to my imports folder. Now, let's take a look at the complexity of our MetaHuman. So, real quickly, I'm going to take a look and see, if we have live link connected. We do. So if anyone were to have their phone for facial tracking or anything, and it's on the VPN, we will be able to see you here. So that's a note for those playing at home, is that we'll be able to connect you to either of these characters, and we can assign you. And if anything pops up, I will just add it in as we go. So let's take a look at these MetaHumans. They're definitely bulky. They're definitely something else, right? So they go into this folder called MetaHumans, and I brought over Zachary, and here's the blueprint. If you're making a scene, we're going to we would just add in Zachary to that. So let's go ahead and make a scene, and we'll do this VR basic scene because it has things that we can knock over. right? And it has a little bit of an auto exposure problem, so I'm going to go to the post processing and lock that in. Let's go. Let's lock it at 1. And then give it a little exposure compensation here. Great. Cool. Everyone can see. So we have Zachary right here. Come on in, Zachary. Let's compile some shaders. Unfortunately, this computer doesn't have the greatest CPU. And but what we've done is it also gives you a folder called source asset. Right? So the source asset is actually the Maya file if you wanted to edit Zachary and get at it. So that is, we find our project, lives and content, MetaHumans, Zachary, and source assets. Right, so this is actually a Maya file that you can do if you want to edit Zachary manually instead of another digital content creation tool. Cool? But we don't need that Zachary. Oh, it's waiting for me to place him. There we go. All right, there's Zachary hanging out. Good. So let's open up the blueprints. So let's take a look at what a MetaHuman is, because it's made by this character generator, and the character generator lets you choose different shoes, different hands, different hats, different shirts. And so what's different from the skeletal meshes that we might be used to with like MakeHuman or any of the other avatar tools is that it's actually, if you look over here, it's a bunch of different skeletal meshes, right? So the face has all the hair on it, and it has a different torso, a different legs, different feet, all right? And we want to do facial capture with the face mesh, and we're going to do motion capture with the body mesh, okay? I need to, let's just check out here. Okay, so the blueprint makes it simplified just to find the live link source and let you do the rotation of the head. We're not going to do the rotation of the head with the app, we're going to do it with the mocap. But we want to get this body. Let's find the source asset. And what's funny about the body is it's actually just the ankles and the hands. So this was a little confusing at first. I can show maybe the bones, but this is where all the bones are. I need this in Motion Builder. All right, so I'm going to asset actions, or maybe I should go back here. I'm going to right click and say asset actions export here. And I put this in the same folder. Same settings can apply, that's fine. Again, we don't care about the mesh, we just care about getting the bones mapped correctly in Motion Builder. So while Zachary's shaders compile over here, I'm going to come back over to Motion Builder, and there we go. One quick thing is I'm going to go to my system right here, and I'm going to say always refresh viewer. If it's checked off when it's in the background, it won't keep on running. And yes, we have tons of software running, so we need to make sure everything is always running. Good. So now we need to bring in those assets we just got. Let's bring in my Ready Player Me. Just drag it and say merge with no animation. Well, that looks crazy. All this is that his bones are looking really big. Let's go to the properties of Ready Player Me and select all of the branches. Select everything underneath it, and the skeletal nodes for some reason are set to 100. 1 is completely sufficient. Alright, good. Ready Player Me is here. It's much taller than both our performers. I am going to characterize it. Oh, the base node is really big still. It's one of those things. No, I'm missing one. one thing is really big and I want to make it go away. I guess it doesn't matter. What is this? It's not that. Maybe it is hips. Tilton root setting. There we go. That was going to bother me. All right, now we're good. I can go to display and say X-ray if I want to see the bones underneath. All right. So cool. Let's go ahead and characterize it. Go into our asset browser and we'll find the characters. And we're going to characterize it as a character called character. I know it sounds redundant and I really should do better about this, but I'm going to drag it onto the hips and say characterize as a biped. And now our list of characters are threefold. I'm going to rename this so it makes more sense to me. This is called Ready Avatar. And let's bring, or read avatar. And let's go ahead and bring in our MetaHuman as well. So imports folder, drag this skeleton in here, merge it with no animation, and it should be a T-pose. It is not a T-pose. Let's do that one more time. Maybe let us, actually, you know what, let's give it a shot. I might have to actually change the position of this. It's been a little while since I've done this. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to take the arms and I'm going to look at the properties. And let's rotate it. Okay, let's see if this is just 0. 0, 0, 0. That sounds good. I get the down arrow or up arrow. Which one is it? Let's just select the next one. And I'm gonna 0 this one out. Nope, that rotation already is 0. Just rotate it and rotate it. That looks a little broken. Let's bring it down. What is that? Do this to taste. Let's see. I also want this one to go up a little higher. Put in that T-pose. Alright. If you guys should probably maybe spend a little bit more time on this. Alright. So like that. And then this one needs to rotate in. Cool. That is super not symmetrical. And what would happen would be just our data would look unsymmetrical. Alright. That's good enough for right now, and we should be ready to go. If I were to scrub the slider forward, it would actually unanimate itself because I haven't keyframed this yet. But I don't need to keyframe the T-pose, I just need to get them up and running for animation. Live, okay. It's not this is art, it's not a science. Okay, so this one needs to be characterized. You can also characterize by selecting the hierarchy here. And you can see that it's the pelvis is right here, that's good. And let's go ahead and bring the character all the way over to the pelvis. And this is also, goes required mostly or do not follow a naming convention, and click OK to view a list of missing notes. Sure. Ooh, fun. Alright, so we just went off the rails. So much for multi-user editing today. You guys are going to learn the sweet way of creating our own custom avatar. Alright, so we have our characters. Maybe just for fun, let's go ahead and connect the Ready Player Me so we can have one thing live and we can have some instant gratification before we move on. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to our character called, right now, sorry, if you look on the top right, this is the human IK, you can see it got the spine, it got the head, but it doesn't understand the rest. That's fine, we'll delete this and we'll do it the other way, and then I'll be able to give you this XML file that you don't need to do all this stuff for yourself. Alright, so ready character, I want it to be characterized by Sammy. I chose you by default. You are our character. I'm going to say active, and now look at Sammy. Sammy's data is now this character. Great. There's all sorts of different solving here. The major thing I like to look at is, so the avatar is bigger than, or taller than Sammy is, right? So as Sammy takes a step, the avatar takes a bigger step. It scales it, right? It's probably more apparent when he starts flying around like a butterfly, right? The avatar is a little bit taller. You have a setting here called match source, and it actually locks in the character. If you had actual spikes on if you had tape on the ground and they had to hit their absolute mark, you would actually turn this on and make sure that the feet are absolutely locked together. When you have tremendously different scaled data and avatars, this could be a really, really funny glitch art thing. But it's really important for like theater where you actually have set furniture or places you have to go to. But it maybe won't look as naturalistic if you're doing dance and stuff. We'll turn it off for right now. But that's one setting in Motion Builder you can do. There's tons of things here that make the retargeting just nicer that you have at your disposal. Let's connect it to Unreal. So in the syllabus, I have the Unreal pipeline for Motion Builder. It's right here. It's how to connect Motion Builder with Live Link. And did I already open that up? So the idea is that Motion Builder both streams its viewport camera if you needed it, which we don't need, and also its skeleton data, right? And so we're taking this, and this is where you can do like adjustments of your animation in Motion Builder, and it updates your animations inside of Unreal. And to do this, you need to make sure Live Link is installed, which it is, and that we've exported our asset, which we just did. And then the one thing you need to do is you need to install the plugin for Unreal from this GitHub repository. When you download this folder, you go over to your settings, SDK, and you find it and you add it in. I've already done that. It goes up to Motion Builder 2019, but the OptiTrack plugin only goes to Motion Builder 2018. So we're staying with Motion Builder 2018 for right now. And with that installed, we can see our devices. We have Unreal in here, and we drag that into our viewport, and it opens up. If I need to find these devices, I can come back over to here, and I see that I have both OptiTrack and my Live Link. Let us do Live Link. I want it to be a solid 60 frames per second, and let's start adding in the characters we want to stream out. We don't need to be adding in the OptiTrack data. We need to add in the hip bone hierarchy of our avatar we were targeted to, say add. And now hips will go to hips. I don't need to stream the viewport camera because we're going to be doing camera work inside of Unreal. We're running out of time. All right, so now it's online. Go back to Unreal, and let's find our skeleton mesh. And we want to make an animation blueprint. We'll call it ABP ready. And then we need to get that Live Link pose in there. And if I go back to my Live Link, hopefully I see Motion Builder. And Motion Builder right now, it's still streaming that viewport. Actually, it's not actively streaming viewport, it's yellow, but I am streaming hips right now. And when we get the other ones over there, it'll say pelvis as well. So let's get... so that's fine. We're just in Unreal World right now. We're going to go over here and here and select those hips because they don't lie. Alright, so now we're doing live motion capture in here. I'm going to add in our animation blueprint here, and since we brought everyone down, let's go ahead and let it be live. Cool. Hey, Sammy. You want to come into the stage? poor Ariel's a little contorted there. But now, you see that Sammy's in the world. Cool? Nice. So we're doing live mocap. And what's cool about this is that I can also position him where I need him. Right? So if he needs to be in a certain seat or in a certain area, I can manipulate him where I need him. Oh, maybe I want him to kick these boxes. Go for it. It's really disorienting for the performer. Yeah, because they're like looking at the projector screen and you know, I can like flip it on them. Oh, go for the big stack. Nice, nice. All right, so he's a little bit at the edge of the volume, so we lost a little tracking there. Cool, awesome. So let's go back and let's yeah. All right, we won't get violent just yet. But they can't fight back. All right, cool. So 1 down, 1 to go. We might not get the virtual camera today, and I apologize. It's pretty straightforward, but I want to get the performers who came all this way in the rain a chance to do to shine. This one's going to be Avatar Playpen. All right, unfortunately, we're going to have to spend a little time in Motion Builder more than I want to, creating a retargetable characterization. It didn't recognize a lot of these bone names. So you have to kind of go through and you have to say, I'm going to create a new, or is it create, or need to define a skeleton? I need to find the skeleton so it knows what I'm doing. So just wave my hands because my lights are about to go off in my control room. There we go. And I need to say, what is it? So it is, what reference is it? And we just do, we can pick the bone, but I can actually say, show me 2 panes. In my second pane, I want to be a schematic. And this is a much easier, well, it should be easier way of looking at these things. That's the Ready Player Me. And there is my, there we go. So I reference, you just do this a game where I'm like, this is this, right? So now it's green. And this is this, and now it's green. And we have to tell it what our spines and stuff are. So spine 1, spine 1. But this can all export out as a XML that I can then email to you guys or put in Slack. So you don't have to do this. This is what mocap was more like back in the day. It's a lot more tedious. And all this auto magic stuff that you guys got. Let's see what we got here. We got neck. We got neck. And neck 2. I totally have this file on my home computer. I can actually just go do that if I want to steal it from there. And head. All right, not too much longer. Let's get an arm going. We got lower arm left. Is that it? Yeah, for spine. So we have clavicle. So that is here. And then it did it symmetrical for us, so that's great. And then that's upper arm. And then that's lower arm. And then that's hand. I'm not going to do fingers because we're not doing finger tracking. It gave me a warning. Warnings are okay. As long as they're not errors, we'll move forward. Let's get over to the thigh. That's the thigh right. I'm going to stick with the thigh left. 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 Cool. And let's go ahead and save this as MetaHuman. And there's a little XML file that I can send you guys. You can you can, that was totally not misspelled right. Okay. MetaHuman. Sure. And it's in this location that's right here. I'll find that later. Okay. And so now, this character should be characterized. Alright, and the character is characterized by the name, character, etc., etc., etc. This one's called, I think it was called Zachary. Alright. There's little Sammy hanging out there. Let's do our mode of data to be recorded. Come back over here and doing edit mode, data, retarget, play, and let's go back to here and say I want Zachary to be, okay, it's not defined yet, now it's characterized. Boom. I want Zachary to be characterized by the character Ariel and active. Yay! Not as impressive in Motion Builder, right? It's like a skeleton with a skeleton. All right, Motion Builder, you're almost ready. We need to add the subject. We're going to add the, I'm not quite sure if it's the root or the pelvis. We'll do root first. And we'll say add. Great. And that should be sending. So I'm going to move this one out of the way, and this one out of the way, and come over here and hang out with Zachary. Zachary is a blueprint that has the body, and we want to make sure that it's running off of an animation blueprint, not an animation. So we don't have an animation blueprint for that, so let's go over here and say, where's your skeleton? Short male, we want to find a skeleton. We're going to filter, not skeleton mesh, filter by skeleton. It's probably a shared asset, right? Because it was called this, right? It's called body trap. Yep, there you go. So let's make an animation blueprint. Or let's find out where this is. This is in male, short, underweight, tops, hoodie, meshes. Or we could find it by looking here and then go back to the skeleton and then saying browse. Oh, MetaHuman base skeleton. That works for me. Create animation blueprint. We'll go ABP meta human 01, and let's open it up and say let's first of all, let's make sure we're getting live linked. Dang it, I just closed my live link window. I gotta go back to the main thing, live link. And now we see we have root streaming over and it's green, so we're ready to go with that one. We'll say live link pose. Choose the roots. Go for it. Compile. Alright. And we hit simulate. I have to choose the animation blueprint first. Go over back to Zachary, and it's called ABP MetaHuman 01. Boom, boom. But there's this new node called Live Link that you can actually, you don't have to actually hit play anymore at all. In the viewport right now, you see we're getting the data right there, which is good. We're happy about that. But if you want to, but if I go over here, it's not animating. Oh goodness, I hope that's not a problem. It's like updating, kind of. His legs are getting away from him. But if you add in this live link skeleton node, and the same thing for just regular animations as well, they'll always be live. because Unreal, I think, is going towards a world where you'd actually never hit the play button. So if I go to our other avatar right here, he's just an animation blueprint, but I can just add a component of a live link skeleton. Who's gonna let me do that? Here, and hit save. Then that's just live, right? I haven't even hit the play button. And the virtual camera is the same way. They're going away from hitting the play button. All right, so let's let our performers perform. Let's go to live. If you come join us, sorry about the wait. Come on out, give us a T-pose. Rebring back your skin. Yes, there's your skin. Look how well that's tracking. So nice. And you're there in the world, but I'm confusing you, right? I'm like putting you away from each other. So let's not do that. Let's take both of our characters and let's put them have the same origin, and that way they're spatially the same way. Cool. And I will hit play so you can simulate physics. All right. So it appears that Zachary or sorry, not Zachary. It appears that Ready Player Me has good collisions, but it doesn't look like. Ariel, you want to try to give it a shot and hit that? Oh, no luck. So what happens is that if I were able to actually show collision, you see that Zachary has these collisions around his head and his body. And that happened on the import, right? It brought those in. This is called the physics asset. If I were to find good old Zachary and hit Control B, which brings me over to content browser, there's a thing called a physics asset, and we can build this, right? We can make different ones and add these little capsules and resize them, reshape them. But our physics asset for MetaHuman, let me hit stop for just 1 second, real quick. Doesn't even seem to exist. So what I'll do to cheat is I'll go to this blueprint for Zachary, and on the body, I hit stop, right? Yeah, on the body, I'm gonna add a component called a like a sphere or a capsule collision, right? And we're going to parent it to let's do the pelvis, right? And then reorient it. Cool. And so now Zachary's got a little more leverage, and maybe I can add another. I can duplicate it and put this one on the upper arm. And then do another one and put it on the other arm. A little cheat here. Upper arm right. Upper arm. Hand, upper arm. So many bones, upper arm right. And move this one down. There we go. So now you can like flap like a bird and blow things up. I'm gonna really quickly capsule, make sure that they're not overlapped. I want to make sure they're blocking all. That way they're not just generating overlap events, they're actually pushing things around. And let's go ahead and let our performers get in there again. And if anyone has the phone connected, you're more than happy. Come on, performers. Come on, performers. Ariel. There we go. Look at that. Yay! So we have collisions on our performers. We can obviously add more and get more definition. If anyone wants to do facial capture in 2 minutes, if I see you here, I'll add you in. Otherwise, we're just going to let the performers tumble around. And then we'll just start from here next time, and we won't do everything from scratch. We'll have everyone in a suit already, and we'll assume that everyone understands OptiTrack and the motion builder process, so we can make a little more headway next week. Cool. But this was good. You guys got to see the nitty gritty of what it takes to create your own skeleton in a motion builder. Isn't that fun? And with the time we have remaining, I am going to, if you guys give me a moment, computer's a little laggy right now. We're gonna create let's see, a box. Come on, computer. What do you think? You're like running 5 pieces of software right now and compiling shaders at the same time? You think that's nothing? Box. We'll do this box trigger. Right. And we'll make it wide. Make it wide. Oh, I was gonna spawn a bunch of like ping pong balls to come down on your heads, but we're out of time. I can always do it another time. But basically, we're gonna have this volume and choose a random point in the volume and spawn a sphere. But that would be like another 10 minutes. So, play us out, piano cats. Knock everything down. Nice. Oh yeah, you think you're something special, Sammy? But I can just move you. Yeah, I'm gonna put you in timeout though. Here, you're in timeout. You're below the world now. But I can pick you up, and I can, like I said before, I can bludgeon somebody with you. Right? Told you I was gonna use you as a weapon. Told you. Does that hurt? The problem with mocap is that both mocap data overrides everything, but I think if we had an NPC, we could probably knock over the NPC. So much exploration to do once you get live and up and running. But this is a good spot. If I hold shift, I run with you. Send you out and bring you back. And let's make you dizzy. We'll do it again. We'll give you a full deck. All right. Okay, so we'll get everything up and running. This obviously took a little bit more time than I was expecting for the MetaHuman. I forgot that I do a custom skeleton definition. Luckily, I was able to bullshit my way through that. And oops, I really sent you packing on that one. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where you are. But you can see the flexibility and malleability of doing this motion builder pipeline. It's really, really good. And gets up and running. All right, so we'll move on from here, and we'll go over explicitly. We'll go over the face capture next time. So we'll have it screen recorded, but it's the same thing we did in I think it was week 6. I showed that's when I first introduced zero tier, and I showed you guys the tutorial for how to connect it remotely, and then but we go over that again, and then we'll get into virtual camera next week, and we'll do virtual camera, and we'll do multi-user editing next week, and we'll do show control the following week when I'm in LA. Before I let everyone go, I'm going to stop the screen recording real quick, but I want everyone to stay around for 1 second.